Up here in the top right side as the blue Zerg representing Fever's the militia force. We got FC Ralpin. And then down here in the bottom left side, the orange Protoss player representing minutes per action. We've got Farth Fader trying to bring this back to a tied match. Right now, Militia Force is up 1-0. So we'll see if Farth can bring this back to a tie game.
Same matchup with two different players. I think we can probably expect two different games like we were talking about before. You tend to see a lot of variation in strategy at the lower levels, so expect a pretty different show.
Yeah, that's something we never actually explained. Is this is Pro League format, which means each player plays one game, and then we do 6 total matches, and then if it's tied at the end of the 6, then we'll pick an ace player from the existing lineups and do an ace match. So, but right now it is not tied. So we'll see what Farth can do here.
Like he's got the pylon at the natural already. Probably a Forge Fast expansion.
Yep. Ralpin electing to go for pool first, and actually sending a drone down to sit by the natural. We'll see if Farth recognizes that. He is sending his probe out that direction, but nope, his probe's just going to circle around inside the base.
Like Farth's opening gateway first. Stand corrected,
Yep, you see that a lot with Protosses nowadays, opening the gateway first. I mean, you're fairly safe in the early game. You might get hit by some early lings, but you should have a zealot out to deal with the early numbers of small councilings. Ralpin does get that hatchery down. If Farth is going to drop down and scout that, he hasn't seen it yet, so really all he knows is there's a pool. He should be able to deduce that there's a hatchery there after not seeing any gas.
I think he's going to lose that probe.
Yeah, and that drone actually does take out the probe. Meanwhile, Ralpin floating an Overlord in. He knows exactly what Farth is doing. He knows it's going to be one gate expo, but the Nexus has not even started yet. So Ralpin does have a small window where he knows that there's not going to be any kind of attack, so he can just drone freely. Sending 4 lings across the map. He only does have that one zealot, and I'm not sure if that probe is completing a wall off here, so those lings might actually be able to get in here.
Yeah, it looks like they're walled, but that's assuming that they're both on hold position as well. If the probe beats it out of there, or if the zealot lunges forward, we might end up with a little bit of a run by.
Yeah, and that probe actually isn't. That probe is on stop command, so if he decides to run these lings up here, right now he's just hanging out by the tower. But he does take an early third hatchery, and that's actually completely safe to do, because Farth wants to take that Nexus, but he hasn't even thrown down his Nexus yet, so I mean, we're not going to be seeing any aggression out of Farth for quite a while.
I feel like the clock's really on Farth right now. The longer this game goes, the further behind I'm afraid he's...
And actually
pressure, stalker out.
Sending those lings on attack command. I'm pretty sure they could have just ran through there, but because they were on attack command, they stopped to attack that Zealot.
Zealots are worth their weight in minerals when it comes to stopping, certainly.
Yeah. And this Overlord looks like it might get away. Yeah, I think it'll get away just the last second here. One more shot.
Will it? No.
Oh, nope. The Stalker does get it though, with its last shot out there. So
I can say as a Zerg player, we've all gotten a little bit cocky about the Overlord speed since that buff a little bit back, and maybe we're seeing a little bit of that from Ralph, and maybe he figured I can leave it there a little bit later, but
yep.
Farth was on board with that, or on the ball with that, and was able to snipe it just in time. I don't even know, he might have gotten off one more shot, but that might have been the last one, so good for him there. Oh, it looks like Stargate play is coming well.
Yeah, Farth actually throwing down the Stargate before Nexus. Not something you see very often, but I expect he'll probably make a couple of Oracles, see if he can be a little bit annoying. We do also see some Protosses like to go for Void Rays out of this position, so supply blocked right now, so he's got another pylon on the way.
Also, a couple too many probes on the gas right there. We'll see if he notices that. It might slow him down a bit as well.
Yeah, he does actually have 4 on both of those gas. He is ahead in workers right now.
Very interesting. Yeah, 3 hatcheries, but only 21 workers right now from Ralpin.
Yeah, Ralpin sacrificing a little bit to get those early hatches up, and then actually making these extra 6 lings that he didn't really need. But that does cut into his larva count a little bit, preventing a couple of drones from being made.
Looks like a 3rd queen is on its way, but against a Void Ray and a Mothership Core, assuming that this Mothership Core holds up, it's could be a little bit dicey. It looks like Farth's trying to soften him up a little bit, but he's pulling back now, and I don't know if the Mothership Core's...
He's actually pulling out the wrong way. He's going to lose this Mothership Core.
Right.
I don't know where those drones are going. That must have been an accident. Yeah, and this queen at the natural here is going to be able to take out this Mothership Core. If
Dicey,
Ralpin,
but it doesn't look like he's reacting, so...
If Ralpin reacts... Ralpin!
Oh!
Then no. Well, and then Farth just sits on the edge of the base. Can Ralpin see that? Nope. So yeah, Farth...
So it looks like the story of the Mothership Core will be continued. It's already gotten all its shields back, so it can even take a couple of hits if Farth has forgotten it in that position, and that Void Ray's bearing down pretty soon.
Yeah, he does have a Void Ray about halfway down. There's one already here, heading towards the base now. But, I mean, he does have 3 queens. He looks like he's put a spore at each, or 2 spores at each base. So he should actually be safe from this first Void Ray.
Ooh.
Loses the Mothership Core to that spore. I don't think he was expecting the Spore Crawler to be there.
This has been a pretty interesting opening. It looks like Ralpin's still behind on workers, so even though this Void Ray attack might not do very much for Farth, I was afraid he was going to be way behind in bases and workers, but it looks like right now, macro-wise, he's actually doing okay, and we're going to lose this queen here?
Farth getting a little overeager there. You can't fight with 1 Void Ray in range of a Spore Crawler against a queen.
I think he is going to pick off this queen. Now it's going to be a matter of... he's going to get it? Yes, he did.
Yeah, but then this queen's going to finish him off. And now he's...
Exactly the trade you wanted.
Yeah, he's got another Void Ray sitting at his natural, and then a 3rd one about to pop out. So, I wonder if he's just going to go for a big gateway push with Void Rays. Well, he is actually making his 2nd Stargate, so he really wants to make these Void Rays work. But, I mean, Ralpin already has Hydras on the way. I don't think Void Rays are going to work anymore. I think his window is gone. I mean, Ralpin also has a Spire, so there's not really much Farth can do with Stargate play unless he wants to go like Mass Phoenix.
I think once speed finishes on those Hydralisks, it's going to be very difficult to get those Void Rays anywhere near anything of value.
Farth also slipping on his probe production. He's only got 3 mining at the natural. So his income is significantly lower than it could be right now. He's only down by 2 workers. But Ralpin is 10 more about to pop out.
Although, interestingly, he's doubling up Ralpin on gas right now. It looks like Ralpin's kind of forgotten a little bit about the gases at his expansions, and it's going to be hard to go into any of these gas-heavy units like Mew does. Oh, there he goes. He's looks like he's just completed, and he took him at his natural. Let's see how long until he gets to his 3rd. A little bit of pressure from Farth coming in here. Looks like that queen's going to go down. Might be sending these zealots up to sort of clear these Spore Crawlers so that he can do with these.
Yeah,
also doing some damage to those workers down there. They're a long way away from any attacking units from Ralpin.
Yeah, Ralpin's sending his units over there right now, but with those Hydras coming down here, he's got 2 Void Rays sitting outside the main. He could just send these Void Rays in. They actually accidentally hit the charge on there, and now they're going to lose their charge. I think Farth had the right idea there to attack the 3rd while at the same time sending Void Rays into the main, but just forgetting to actually send those Void Rays in, he could have done quite a bit of damage.
That micro can be really hard to do, though. It's a lot of different places, a lot of different units. It's a right idea, but just a little tricky to pull off. Although now we got 4 of them coming in here now. Maybe he's going to try to do a little bit of brute force.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's 2 spores, a queen, and if he gets his Hydras up here, 4 Void Rays isn't going to do much to that. Actually hitting charge on 2 of those. But these Hydras are well out of position, so he might be able to, at the very least, pick off a spawning pool or something.
Even on creep, it's going to take them a while to get up there.
Yeah.
Just started moving them now. I guess we will see. They're Void
Yeah,
Rays
this-
kill stuff fast.
And this spawning pool is going to go down. Hydras are here, so Farth has to pull back. He can't fight these Hydras. Loses one Void Ray.
Looks like one's gonna
Yeah, but he does
be
have
the only loss.
he does have two
coming
more
it looks
joining the
like.
fight. Ralphin also now starting Muta production. Well, he started for a little while. Now he's gone right back into Hydra.
I think this is that tricky time for silver level players. They're trying to figure out exactly how they want the mid game to develop. Both of them are floating a lot of money, and looks like Farth's going to be able to pressure this third a little bit more. But now the Hydra should come down and clean that up.
Yeah, only sending 4 Hydras though, and with that number of Zealots, 4 Hydras
Yeah, I
can't
don't know
clean
if
that
you-
up without Micro.
Yeah, splitting those up like that, it's not something you want to do as a Zerg player, especially not against Zealots. I think it's easy to forget their DPS and their hit points. They're tough units. Those 2 Zealots are going to do a lot of damage now.
Yeah, Farth up to 14 workers killed now, trying to focus down that Spore Crawler. And he's catching Ralpin actually focusing down this pylon, so he's going to be able to take out these Hydras as well. Farth just continuing to be really annoying with these Zealot Warpins. And finally Ralpin just says, screw this, and sends his entire army down there.
Yeah, although Farth's made it, Farth's almost 30 supply ahead now. This is quite the switch.
And now he's got his Void Rays moving in. He's got Colossus on the way. He does actually have a significant army back home.
Wouldn't mind seeing a couple Phoenixes to help support now that the Mutas are out, and that's not going to go well.
Yeah, just too many Hydras. He can't fight that. And these Mutas are going to be able to clean up the rest of these, it looks like. Well, maybe not.
But maybe so.
There we go.
Farth finds himself in a tough position. If he stands and fights those Mutas, the Hydras are going to be able to clear it out, but he can't run from the Mutas either. But like you said, it looks like we're seeing Farth transition into some Robotech here, so...
Yeah, actually double Robo Colossus now. He does still have Void Rays. I'd expect Farth to go for a third base pretty soon. I mean, his main's going to be mined out shortly, so he's going to need another source of income.
I wouldn't mind seeing Ralphin put up a couple more expansions as well. He's definitely got the money for it right now.
Farth actually with a bad rally, he's going to lose both of those Void Rays, and now he has no more Void Rays on the field. But with these Colossi, he might be able to hold off this push. The Mutas are going to be what's going to be a problem.
Farth needs time, if anything else, time for charge to finish, time for the range to finish. It doesn't look like he's going to get it.
Yep, he's got to pull that Colossus
not going to do a
back.
whole lot against those Hydras.
He does lose that first Colossus and losing a couple units, but he does have 2 more popping out. But then the rest of the Mutas join the fight. He has nothing to answer for these Mutas. He's got 3 Stalkers warping in, but that's not enough to deal with. How many Mutas does he have? 6? 7?
Seven Mutas on the field, and it looks like at least a good dozen Hydralisks down.
So yeah, Ralpin getting a couple of good pickups on those Void Rays that were flying around, and he's able to capitalize on Farth being in the middle of a transition.
Very fortuitous timing by Ralphin, and it looks...
Yep, I expect to see Farth tap out pretty soon. Yep, there we go.
A little hard on himself, but...
He had the right ideas all game. Just a couple of unfortunate moves where he lost those Void Rays and a couple of bad rallies, but all in all, well played all around. But that does bring Fever up 2-0 on MPA. And I've got to update that score.